Welcome, UCL fans, to our Season 2, Week 2 preview. I'm your host, Nintendo Fanatic 64, and I'm here to tell you what matches are going to be happening this weekend. By the time this video goes up, should be tomorrow for the United Championship League Season 2. If you do enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, where I do UCL content during the season every Tuesday and Friday. And then also let me know down in the comment section below, what team are you rooting for in this season for the United Championship League. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to pull up our schedule for it, so that way you can all see what matches are going to be taking place. But this week we are going to have the South Beach Slow Kings taking on the Real Maril. Definitely will be an interesting battle. I'd have to give probably a slight advantage to the Real Maril, just in their coach Mega Mogwai, just because of the battle experience that he has over the South Beach Slow Kings coach David, aka Sensational GP. He has a lot more battle experience between the GBA and all sorts of other things. David, of course, not being really big into competitive battling scene for it. Next match we have will be the Tucson Terrakions taking on the Pittsburgh Pichus. This one will be definitely an interesting one. Both, the Pittsburgh Pichus coach, Numb Nexus, has definitely, got a little bit more experience, I would say, when it comes to battling, at least with, he does a lot with, like, following up on Smoke on Tears and things like that. Has even helped, coach, or not, like, coach, but helped out with a lot of other teams when it came to, like, prepping their teams for other matches, including the coach of the Tucson Terrakions, the King Nappy, where he actually helped Nappy build his team against his Week 1 opponents, the St. Louis Rampardos, for it. So it'll definitely be an interesting match. King Nappy will have to try and look elsewhere for help and inspiration to take on the Pittsburgh Pichus, but it should be an entertaining match. This one could really go either way. I can't really give out a clear winner or loser for that one. Up next, we have the Carolina Keldios versus the Philadelphia Fur Alligators. Philadelphia Fur Alligators coach PK Sparks had a real rough week in Week 1. Didn't really, very early on in the match, kind of defeated, thought he was going to get 6-0'd, brought it back to at least a 3-0, so he didn't get completely swiped, but hopefully gets, finds the confidence that he needs. I think he's really entertaining. I wish him luck for this matchup. But of course, the Carolina Keldios coach, JYT Gamer, is no slouch himself. Did pretty decent, I remember, in Season 1 with things. So it'll be real interesting to see how these two teams go against each other this time. It'll be definitely a good one to watch. Again, no real clear-cut winner with this one. It's hard to say who would actually, come out on top. They're both going to be, it's going to be a good match to say the least. Up next, we have the Tulsa Talonflames versus the Toronto Togekiss. The Toronto Togekiss are 1-0, with the Tulsa Talonflames being 0-1. Of course, the coach of the Toronto Togekiss, the Heated Mo, proved in Week 1 why he is known as the Hacks God, when he managed to actually flinch out all of his opponent's Pokemon using his Jirachi, and Jirachi getting all 6 knockouts during that match. Tulsa Talonflames are no slouch with their coach, Cuddle of Death, aka Kristen. She's proven that she can, win big matches at times from the first season on it. She is here to have fun and use, like, goofy sets and everything, because this is all about fun after all. So we'll have to see how well she'll actually do against the Hacks God himself. Slight edge probably would go to the Toronto Togekiss, just due to the fact that he has the, edge as far as, like, trying to gain hacks and actually using it to his advantage. Up next, we have the Newcastle Nido Kings taking on the Long Island Regirockies. Both these teams managed to get victories in Week 1. It's going to be a really good match, I think. The Newcastle Nido Kings coach, as Patters, which I think, he did really well in Season 1. He lost, like, his first 2 weeks and then came back and won, 12 straight weeks after that. No other coach had a 12-game winning streak during Season 1. Long Island Regirockies coach Nips is definitely good at battling. We've seen him battle several times in other leagues, such as the GBA. Of course, was here last season for the UCL and did pretty decent. Was in contention for playoffs had met certain requirements, which I believe he met his requirements, but the other win cons for it were not met, so unfortunately was unable to make it to the playoffs. Up next, we have the Grand Canyon Greninjas and the Manchester Magnazones going up. Both teams, of course, lost in the first week. Manchester Magnazones had a mishap where played his mons on the wrong game and was unable to actually Mega Evolve. Grand Canyon Greninjas, they had, one of their Pokemon gen incorrectly, so were unable to actually get the moves they wanted for it. But both coaches, I know, will do really well and won't make the same mistakes twice, double checking everything before going into the battle. So, coach of the Manchester Magnazones, of course, being Faint Attacks, who, congrats to him, recently getting 20,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, so congrats to him. The Grand Canyon Greninjas, Coach Twit, definitely will be having fun. He was all about having fun with this season. Of course, one of the biggest surprises was how he drafted Dedenne, and hopefully we get to see Dedenne this week. It was one of those things, he put a lot of hype into it, and, he didn't bring it week one, but understandably so. It wasn't really going to work well with the matchup that he had going into it. I don't know how it'll work this time with the Manchester Magnazones. We might not see it until when he faces, I'd say, Philadelphia for Alligators and PK Sparks, because that way you have, more water types and flying types, I think, out of Philadelphia than you will out of the Manchester Magnazones camp. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Up next, we have the Durham Druddigons taking on the Bristol City Blazekins. Bristol City Blazekins coach, Game Boy Luke, had a tough loss this last week with the Toronto Togekiss. Of course, was doing really well on the verge of victory. Missed one move and got flinched to death, unfortunately. It was real close. It was a nice 2-0 loss. Definitely, I'm sure, wants to make a comeback and not let the same mistakes happen this time. Plays really well. Again, he's not really a battler by any means, but did really well in week one, just lost due to the unforeseeable things such as flinching in the game. Durham Druddigons coach 6 Foot Hacks, aka Leo, of course, got his victory in week one, where he went up against the Philadelphia for Alligators and just had a lot of bulky mons kind of again, has a lot of defensive answers, and sometimes defense wins out in the end for it, so we don't know if that will be the same case, if Bristol City will, take what they learned in the first week and make sure that they will apply better judgment this time for it. And then finally, what I'm going to be referring to as the hype match of the week, which, again, thank you to Wayne Bond, who mentioned that in the comment section of last week's preview video, that, I should have, my hype match of the week. So this week's hype match of the week is going to be going to the Bronx Beartics versus the St. Louis Rampardos, a rematch of the championships match, as well as, don't forget, our Little Cup championship match. Had these two teams go up against each other for it. Of course, the Bronx Beartics coach, Joey Pokeyame MD, is definitely a great competitive battler. We haven't seen him much in the way of leagues. I know he does a lot of Pokemon Showdown stuff, but that does translate well into this type of league as well. But of course, the coach of the St. Louis Rampardos is aiming to try and get a UCL championship. We know that in Season 5 of the GBA, he managed to get a championship there and wants to win his UCL championship. He wants to get another title added to his collection, if you will, for it. And, don't blame him for that, but this is definitely going to be a real big match. You have the man who's truly striving for that championship match going up against the guy who just cost him it the season before on it, as well as even in the Little Cup season. It's going to be a really great match. I can't wait to see this one. This one, like I said, is probably going to be the hype match of the week. So thank you all for whoever watched all the way through with this. Oh, and also, before I do forget, there was a trade this last week. We had Gastrodon from the South Beach Slow Kings was traded for Golurk from the Tucson Terrakions. So the Tucson Terrakions once again getting their Gastrodon back. Cindy, as he likes to call it, from the King Nappy. So Cindy is back with the I almost said the wrong team, with the Tucson Terrakions, and Golurk definitely will be a nice one to be added to the South Beach Slope King side of things. So, but thank you all very much for watching, and for whoever made it all the way through here. Don't forget to subscribe. I will have more UCL content videos out on Tuesday reviewing all the matches that we just talked about here. So thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and goodbye.